There was one instance where I was low, and this was just a couple years ago, and it, like you were talking about, it kind of freaked me out. It made me have like a wake-up call, like I need to take care of myself. But I remember, I think my dad had handed me like a glass of milk or something, and I don't remember this part, but it was the punchline. But I then got up to get myself something to eat, and I was like, what's this doing here? And my dad was like, we just tried to give that to you. And I had no recollection.
Welcome to Creepalachia. If you got sugar, this is the show for you. And if you don't have sugar, you know, maybe you'll find something interesting. I'm sure we all know a diabetic, and I know a good one. Maddie Harvey, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I reached out to Maddie and I was like, let's just have a big old diabetes show because Maddie is an actual professional. And are you the chairperson of Camp Kno-Koma?
Yep. So we have a board of directors, and I'm the president of that board of Camp Kno-Koma.
Perfect. How many's on the board?
There are 20 people on the board. So we have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and then other just board of directors.
Nice. And Camp Kno-Koma, for those who don't know, every year, diabetics from across the country gather in the hills of West Virginia to, you know, talk diabetes and learn that there are other kids just like them, and they just do regular activities, which I had a fun time visiting this summer. Thank you for letting me.
Thanks for coming.
Tag
It was
along.
a lot of fun.
When did you get involved with that?
So I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 7 years old in August, that next July. So when I was 8, I attended camp for the first time, then went as a camper. We have a LIT program, which stands for Leader in Training when you're 16, 17. Then over 18, I was a counselor. I was a head counselor on the board of directors. And now that I'm a pharmacist, I'm medical staff.
Heck yeah.
So I've done a lot of the steps.
Well, you've done way better for Camp Kno-Koma than what I have. So, which we'll get into in a little bit, but I want to talk about your backstory. So first off, how old are you now?
I'm 29.
All right. So 21 years. We still got all our fingers.
All fingers.
Heck yeah. We got some toes, I guess. You got shoes on. But you know, we're going to get into that in a minute. But tell me about you. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Morgantown. I went to college there in Morgantown. I was in WVU's marching band. That's always one of my fun facts.
Heck yeah.
Still live in Morgantown and work with one of the hospitals up there in the medical weight management clinic.
Awesome. So you, what was your degree in technically?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy. Okay. So give me your diagnosis story. We'll share diagnosis stories. How, what all do you remember about it? Where were you? All that good stuff.
I don't remember too much. Like I said, I was 7 years old. It was the third day of third grade. But that whole summer, I had the classic symptoms that you hear of. So I had to go to the bathroom a lot. I was thirsty. I had lost some weight. And all of those were kind of attributed to different things. So you're thirsty because you're running around. It's summer. I was diagnosed in August. So again, running around, thirsty, drinking water, no big deal. Then you drink a lot of water. You have to go to the bathroom. So I had those symptoms.
Sure.
Then I had lost some weight, but I was like getting taller at the same time. So it's like you kind of just fill out, you know, or slim down, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember my mom asking me like once school started if I still was having to go to the bathroom so much. And I was like, oh no, I only had to go like twice today. It was fine. And she at one point had pointed out that I was breathing really heavy, and we joke about it now because she was like, stop doing that. Why are you breathing so heavy? Then again, I was at school. I remember my friend was like, you should go to the nurse, but that was not something that I did. I had never been to the nurse. I was very shy, quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had an after school program, and my friend was like, Maddie, your lips are blue. So I looked down and like my fingers were a little bit blue too. So they called my parents, and my mom got there. We went to one of our clinics, and one of the doctors actually stayed late to see me. And then I I don't remember too much once we got there, but I think they checked my blood sugar, checked my ketones there. I remember my mom crying, and then we went to the hospital with WVU. And then I was there for a couple of days, maybe a week, learning about all the things with diabetes. I remember being upset because I was going to miss school. I was like very good girl, and I was worried about missing school.
Sure.
And I also remember meeting the women's basketball team when I was there. It was all good memories when I was in the hospital.
Nice.
Lots of fun. They did a commercial I was on when I was there. Those are the main things I remember. But then came home. I remember my parents took me into school one of the days afterwards and kind of just saw the class, and we met with the nurse and all the different things we were going to do. Then after that, just went back to school and had a few things different. I got to eat snacks in class and all of that stuff, but other than that, hasn't slowed me down too much.
Oh, well, let me be the yin yang here and scare the poop out of people. I mean, we're not trying to scare anyone, but mine was a little more traumatic. So like you said, the bathroom stuff, I was peeing the bed.
Yeah.
I was severely thirsty, and I remember looking outside at certain point in times and seeing the pool, and it was cold. It was around fall time. It wasn't hot, and I just remember wanting to go outside and jump in the pool because I was that on fire. And I, like you said, I had no clue what was going on. And eventually I couldn't keep anything down. So everything I would eat, I would just throw back up just over and over again. And I did that at school. I remember I went to school, shout out Mrs. Bateman. She actually passed away, but she was my 5th grade teacher at Welch Elementary. And I was just feeling sick that morning, and I just, you got to go to school. You got to try and go. And I missed a few days already. So I remember asking to go to the bathroom. I walk down the bathroom. I go in the stall, and it's the first time I ever threw up at school. I was so scared. So I got sick. I went in back to the classroom, and I went up to Mrs. Bateman, and I just started crying and said I threw up. And she gave me a big hug. She said, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's no problem. We'll get your mom called." So my mom came and got me. And she, actually it's my grandparents. So I had to go with my grandparents all day. My mom took me to McDonald's that morning, and I couldn't choke down an Egg McMuffin. That's what it was. So she took me to school. I think I was a little late, and then I got sick. So my grandparents took me up to the mall, and we were going around, and I just felt like crap. And we went to K&W. I couldn't even choke any kind of food down. So I was like, well, let me get me something to drink. I'll get a Clearly Canadian. Great idea, which is full of sugar. I don't even know if they make it anymore. But so I chug that. I get sick pretty soon after. And that night, the parents were or my mom and my parents were divorced. They were kind of talking, and like I got the sense that something was wrong, but I was just too tired to care. So I went to bed. So mom was going to let me go to bed. So she did. And then she woke me up middle of the night, and she said, "We're going to the hospital." And I said, "Okay." So I got up, and I remember plain as day, I walked in the sitting area, put on my coat. I look in the mirror, and I look like straight out of Walking Dead casting. Like my eyes were sunk in. It looked hollow. My cheeks were sunken in, and I was in DKA. I just didn't know it. So, and we didn't know what that was. But so she took me to the doctor, and I remember Dr. Eels in Welch Emergency, like it just now happened. We're sitting on the bed. My mom's sitting behind me. He walks in. He says, "Well, looks like you're diabetic." And then we were like, "What?" what's that? And then he's like, diabetes. You have diabetes. And I was like, and I looked at Mom and I was just like, can it be cured? And he was like, no, it can't. And then he walks off. And then I remember I looked at my mom and she just was like, we didn't know what that was.
Right.
So it's 1995, I think. First time I ever heard it. And then it quickly got serious and they hauled me to Charleston. Come to find out, you get to a point, like if you check your sugar, probably diabetics on here have checked it before, and no judgments. Sometimes it'll say HI. Well, the meters would only go so high, and you could only know the actual number if you go to the hospital or whatever. I think mine was in 900s. And they said, Mom said that they told her that if she let me go to sleep, I probably would have went into a coma.
Wow.
And I can't thank my mom enough for kind of having that intuition.
Absolutely.
To just say, something's not right here. Sometimes you just got to listen to your body or your kid's body and just do what you think is right. So they took me to Charleston in an ambulance from Welch, which was about an hour. And then the next 48 hours, I swear to God, they were checking my sugar every hour.
That happened to me too.
It sucked.
It was, I remember that was the worst part. I was like, don't wake me up. I just went to sleep.
Oh, it got so bad. Yeah, they kept on waking me up and they'd come, hey, honey. And they'd have to do it on my feet eventually.
Oh, wow.
And I remember one time I threw such a fit. I'm talking and I was a pretty good kid, but I threw a fit until the nurse said, I'm not doing this. And told the other nurse, and she walked out. She said, I just can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'll come back in an hour. It was pretty definitely life-changing, traumatic. And then, after those first couple days, it got better. I remember they only gave me ice chips. Could only eat ice chips for like 2 days while they got your sugar down,
Yeah.
And so then the education started. They started telling me, okay, well, there's this stuff called insulin, and we're going to, here's kind of your plan. You're going to be on N, which is a long-lasting insulin that'll last all day, and then you're going to be on R, which is a short-acting insulin, and you're going to take that twice a day. So, okay. And thinking about it now, it just would have been so hard to zero in with that kind of therapy. And to each their own, but the way I do things now is so shockingly different.
Right.
Than what it was. It was like you do, and you had this process because N was clear, or N was cloudy, R was clear. Yep. So you got to get the R out first, and then you get the N in after the fact. And I don't know what the reason for that. Do you know the reason for that?
I should.
It's so long ago. I'm sure you didn't learn.
No, I was only on that for a little bit, like a year. Then I got an insulin pump, but my sister also has type 1. So when she was diagnosed, was like maybe 5 years after me, and they didn't even have that. So it was just so rapid because they had Lantus, which was your once a day long acting. So it's definitely changed.
Oh, yeah. Quickly. Well, I was in 95. You'd have been in 05 or so.
04.
04. Yep. So, just in the time span of that, it was shockingly different.
Absolutely.
And get this, my brother's a type 1 diabetic too.
Really?
You know how old he was?
How old?
44.
I was going to guess older. Yeah.
And I didn't even know that happened.
Really?
Yeah. And of course, he's way better than me at taking care of himself.
I have that problem too.
Yeah.
My sister's way better than me.
Yeah. Yeah. And which is great, know. But I do okay, but I slip a lot, which we can talk
it's
about.
Hard. Yeah.
But so they started teaching me. Big tip for any parent that's listening: if you just had a kid be diagnosed, if they are able to give their own shots, start that as soon as you possibly can. That's a tip from me anyway, because I started learning on oranges in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I gave myself my shots from the beginning.
That's great.
And it helped.
How old were you?
I was 9. I think I just may have turned just 10, because I think it was in October. So my birthday's in August. So I may have been 10.
Yeah.
If it was 5th grade. But yeah, it was. And then after that, it was, essentially a diet. I freaked out a lot, but essentially, and we're going to get into some scary times. We got to talk about some scary times because I got a few of them. But yeah, that was life. So you started on NNR?
Yes.
Okay. What did you start giving yourself your shots, or did your mom or mom and dad or whoever?
I think they helped a good bit at the beginning. I definitely wasn't hands off. I was always involved, but I don't know right at the beginning that I gave them myself. Very shortly afterwards, I would do things independently, and camp was a big part of that, where like I'd have an insulin pump. I went there, wouldn't do anything with it. Like I didn't change it myself. And then I come home and I'm like, no, I can do this all by myself. And we still see that at camp today, but they were definitely hands-on. So I don't know, but
sure. And whatever works. I just know for me, like, I don't know. I was kind of not a brat, but I kind of had to do it myself. I don't know. I wouldn't have liked other people giving me shots.
Totally fair.
Yeah. How many times you check your sugar at the beginning?
A lot. Up until I had a CGM, it was at least 8 times a day, I think.
You never rebelled?
Oh, well, yeah, a little bit there in my like teenage years. I would think I wasn't checking it as much as I should, but
yeah,
it's hard to not know. It's an anxiety thing.
I know. I wish that I had that. I went 5 years and didn't check it.
Really?
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here because there's a lot of years where I just didn't give a damn.
Yeah, it's easy.
Frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully I came out of that. And my A1C, I haven't been out of the 6s. It's been over a decade.
Wow.
So
it's amazing.
The pump changed my life.
Yeah.
What pump do you have?
I have the Tandem T-Slim. Yeah.
Sweet. And do you do the Dexcom G6 or 7?
I have the 7.
Is it better?
There's lots of controversy. I like the 7 because I can go, like 24/7 with never not knowing what my blood sugar is, because you have a grace period. I value that stuff. It doesn't expire at like 2 p.m. at work or at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. But there are some quirks with it. It has some connectivity issues, I think, that some people are holding out with the G6.
Since we're talking sensors, let's get into this.
Okay.
The G6 has been frustrating me to no end. I love it to death. I will dance at its wedding, but I've been having a constant strain of after day 6, it just going and reading low.
Yeah.
Do you have that issue?
That's terrible. Not too much with this one that I have, the G7, but I do notice like at night, if I'm laying on it, those compression lows. So it's not reading accurately and it will just be low for hours. And I don't always wake up to it because, alert fatigue. And I have noticed that, but not too much with the upgraded version. I'm happy with the G7. I'd recommend it. It's cheaper too.
Perfect. Well, and it comes with the transmitter. You don't have to. It's kind of. It's kind of annoying because with the G6, you got this little transmitter in it, and then it'll last for 5 or 6 sensors, and you just got to keep switching it out, and that gets annoying. But my goodness, it's heaven on earth compared to what it was.
Absolutely. I don't know how we did it without before, because I've only had the Dexcom since 2019. Before then, I had different types of sensors. I was on Medtronic. They just weren't as reliable.
Sure.
And I don't know how I did anything that I did. I mentioned I was in WV's marching band. I have no idea how I did what I did while being healthy and not having any issues, because I had no idea what my blood sugar was for any of it. And now someone compared it to a GPS. It's before we could get around with road signs, but now we have that nice little blue line that makes sure you're on the track.
And I don't know I think the numbers of complications that it lowers the chances of is humongous. I think kidneys was like, I don't know, lowers your chance of kidney failure by like 90% or something crazy after going from sliding scale shots to the pump. There's all these numbers that I was seeing when I first went on Medtronic, where I was like, yeah, I got to do this.
Right.
This is great. Now, to each their own. Again, other treatments do work for people, but I know the pump with the sensor is essentially like you kind of don't have diabetes anymore, except every 3 days. You're like, okay. I mean, like you still got to take care of yourself, but it's not as big as a pain as it was before.
It lessens that like burden to it. Yeah.
Well,
I still think about it all the time, but
yeah. Well, yeah. God, I hate it so much. It's not bad, but I hate it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want other people. There are worse diseases. Like, we didn't know what kind of diagnosis or what was going on.
Right.
And diabetes is a highly manageable disease. But also it can be real scary.
Absolutely. And that's like you talking about your diagnosis story. So all of the symptoms, they're classic. You have to go to the bathroom a lot. You lose weight. You mentioned like your eyes sunken in. All of those things, they sound like, oh, how did somebody miss this? Or how did it wait till it got that bad? You can excuse all of those things. And like, even for me and my sister, we look back at pictures and we're like, oh, yeah, we were sick then. But you don't know it. And your family's with you every day. All of those things, you don't see that stuff. So it's really difficult. And just to be aware of those things. And I think it would be neat to have some prevention, or not prevention, screening, and especially kids, adults, anybody, because it's there and it's the first time that you find it and you're really sick and then you manage it. Sometimes you get diagnosed with something and then it, progresses. You find it and you're really sick with type 1.
Yeah. Well, and think of it this way, like it's gradual change. It's not like you wake up and then your face is sunk in. It's like this is gradual change over the course of years sometimes. I mean, typical person, your sugar could be 400 right now and you're not necessarily going to really know. Everybody is different, but I don't know how many years I had it. I look back on times where I gorged out on food and, I got sick and different things like that. I remember I ate a bag of chips a couple years before that. I ate like a whole bag of chips and I got sick and threw up on the thing. And it could have been the fact that I ate too much, but it also could have been the fact that my sugar was insanely high and I didn't realize it, So really, but yeah, and kids are getting type 2 now. There wasn't any type 2 cases in kids. So it's, why is it? This should just be part of the standard physical.
I agree completely.
Yeah. It's, you hate to say it, it is getting more regular. But at the same time, if you get diagnosed out there, it's going to be fine.
We have all these tools.
Yeah. Tons of tools. Way more than just N&R and good luck. And the meters, who knows if they were accurate? I mean, I don't know. They probably were close, but I'll check it sometimes now, which I think a meter's more accurate now than a sensor, but I don't know. What do you think?
That's what they say. That's like kind of you're still your gold standard with the meter, but it's transitioned very rapidly. I mean, people used to like test their urine and just see if you had sugar there or not.
Sure.
And now then the meters are good, accurate. I don't use mine at all really anymore now that I have a reliable sensor. So
yeah. Well, my fingers got sore and then you'd get like these little holes, not holes, but just little like black and brown dots in your fingertips because you check it so many times. Yeah. And I don't know if it's because I don't wash my hands enough. I don't know. But yeah, and sometimes too, I wouldn't change the lancet as quick as I should. It get to where it's so doled out that's like, it don't even break my skin. I'm like, okay, I'll probably need to change it.
Right.
But yeah, it's Very controllable. I guess this is very late, but give me the professional explanation of what type 1 diabetes is and how it occurs.
Yeah. So type 1 diabetes happens when the body, for some unknown reason at this point, attacks through the beta cells in your pancreas. So one part of your pancreas, which is what produces insulin. So people with type 1 don't have insulin. They don't make it, which everybody has insulin. With a normal functioning body has insulin and uses that insulin to convert the food that we eat into energy. So without that insulin, your body starts finding its energy elsewhere. So in DKA, it starts breaking down the fat, which is why people lose weight. And then that fat is toxic. So that's why it turns into a hospitalization usually.
Yeah. Well, how fun. So type 2, what's the difference?
Type 2 diabetes usually starts with a dysfunction in the response to the insulin that's there. So sometimes the pancreas isn't producing as much insulin as it should, but it's still there. Sometimes it's the body has more of a tolerance to that insulin, so it needs much more insulin than what your pancreas is giving it to lower the blood sugar. But it's much more multifactorial. So type 1 diabetes, your body doesn't have insulin. Type 2 diabetes, you might not be responding to the insulin. Eventually, you might not be making insulin either, but that's why we have a lot more treatment options in type 2 diabetes compared to type 1, which is give insulin.
Gotcha. And the differences between them. So type 1 is essentially something, and correct me, tell me, say, JD, no, you have no clue what you're talking about, but your pancreas is essentially like a ticking time bomb, and it could go off at any time. It'll just decide to stop making it, like it'll decide to attack your pancreas, and then it'll quit making insulin.
Right.
Is that basically what goes on?
Yep. So it's an autoimmune condition. So your immune system thinks that the pancreas is bad. So just like an infection, you get a virus, your immune system thinks that virus is bad, and usually it is. So it attacks it. In type 1 diabetes, your immune system attacks the pancreas because it thinks it's bad, even though it's wrong. So then it doesn't make insulin.
How come we ain't figured out how to cure this? It seemed like you could be like, well, we know what attacks it, so we're just going to, Narcan those things to where they won't attack your pancreas.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a vaccine or something of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's lots of research out there, and maybe I'm hopeful and optimistic and that I think something like that will be soon, that we have all of these new treatment options for so many things. But I think why we don't have it yet is because we don't know what triggers that autoimmune reaction. So people are normally functioning, and then like the question is what changed that the body decided to attack those pancreas cells.
Sure. Yeah. Now that makes sense. Plus, Medtronic and T-Slim would be screwed. They'd be up
Absolutely.
the creek. No. I got my tinfoil hat here. We can get into big pharma, but yeah, maybe one day. I'm hopeful too. I think it's one that we can definitely tackle. But at the same time, I think for sure we can squash type 2 diabetes in children because type 2. Now, there is still some hereditary values with that, correct?
Yes.
But it's something that you actually can actively prevent?
Yes and no.
Right.
So you're right. There are hereditary components to type 2 diabetes. There is factors that are lifestyle modifications. So increased weight, increased high sugar diets, things like that. They make your pancreas work really hard. Mm-hmm. So that's how it leads to type 2 diabetes, and that the pancreas is like, I'm tired of this, and kind of spazzes out a little bit. So there are a lot of initiatives that we can do to help prevent it, delay it, but it is still a condition. And sometimes, there's people that have type 2 diabetes and they just have a really strong family genetics with it and aren't overweight and eat well and are overall healthy, and their body still is kind of like,
sure,
we don't like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of variability with that diagnosis.
Right.
Sure. So is it possible to, like, treating type 2, that you can actually use medication that type 1 can't? Why is that exactly? Like with the metformin and the different oral supplements?
Yep. So metformin is one that makes your body a little bit more sensitive to the insulin that your body's producing already. So that's how it works. There are other medications called sulfonylureas that are like glipizide. They go to your pancreas and they like yell at it and they're like, hey, give more insulin, give more insulin.
Yeah.
So if someone with type 1 were to take those medicines, it wouldn't do anything because we're not making that insulin. So it wouldn't work.
Sure.
But there are increasing studies with things like metformin and the new like GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, that there may be some use for those in management of type 1 too. But that would only be in addition to insulin. So somebody with type 2 diabetes may be well controlled on metformin, diet, exercise, and have a good A1C and be well controlled, where somebody with type 1 couldn't just take metformin. They would always have to take that with insulin.
Sure, that makes sense. Is it possible to cure type 2 with diet only?
So I'm very passionate about this. I don't like the term cure.
Mm-hmm.
I like the term control. So it's something, if at one point in time you had an elevated blood sugar or multiple blood sugars or an elevated A1C, it's something we always want to watch out for. But the first line treatment recommendation for people with type 2 diabetes is diet and exercise, because it can be controlled with just diet in some instances.
Sure. Like my mother-in-law, she controlled it for a long time, being on like a keto type diet.
Right.
But also she gets a little hard-headed and don't want to take medication when you kind of like, sometimes you need that little extra boost as we age and different things stop working and your body deteriorates. Not that hers is. She's a beautiful lady, beautiful soul, love her to death. But what can we say to people on how to motivate them to actively take care of their diabetes? Because there's a thing called a non-compliant diabetic that I didn't know was a thing and really bums me out.
Yeah. Diabetes is hard. And I think the world has made it a little bit harder because you get a diagnosis of, I'll say diabetes just alone, because a lot of people don't understand the differences between type 1 and type 2. And that's not intentional. I just think, again, the world has labeled diabetes as somebody that doesn't take care of themselves and has poor eating habits and doesn't exercise and, has done all of this stuff to themselves. And I'm very passionate that is not the case. It is just something that sometimes it's in the cards and sometimes it's not.
Sure.
For people. But with that, diabetes is very manageable. So people get burnout. And I think that's where the non-compliance comes, because it's easier to just ignore it. Like you said, you may have a blood sugar of 400 and you don't know it in the case of type 2 diabetes. So then they're telling you to take all these medicines and you don't feel bad, right? So it's kind of hard to want to take medicines or do these different treatments when you feel fine.
Sure. Until
something else happens and you have all of these increased risk of damage to your heart, your kidneys, your limbs, all of the things. So that's my recommendation, is be aware that you can do little things that will have a big difference on your health.
That's a good way to put it. And let's explain complications. Here's how I've understood it, and you just tell me how wrong it is or what the actual concept is. So from what I understand is when your sugar's high, your nerve endings are essentially on fire and your body's eating self, with the fat like you were talking about. But over time, abuse to your body is going to cause certain things to be overloaded and quit working eventually. Is that essentially what happens? Or
yes, I like to explain it as somebody, if you see sugar, just like normal table sugar, it's a crystal, right? So if something crystallizes, you can see that sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I like to visualize it that if you have too much sugar in your blood, you have those little like glass crystals just tearing up your vessels because that blood is going everywhere and it's I'm forgetting the word. It's giving all of your hormones. It's taking care of your body. It's giving nutrients to every single part of your body.
Sure.
So when there's too much blood or too much sugar in there, it's damaging all of those vessels. So that's what leads to damage to our eyes, our kidneys, because those are really tiny vessels there. So that's where we see that those.
That makes so much sense. So they're going through those little nerve endings and they're ripping tunnels through there.
Yep.
And eventually that extended abuse is going to cause those nerve endings to not work so well and to not feed your body. And that's why when patients get older and they don't take care of themselves, they typically start losing the tips of their fingers, and then they'll take off a little at a time. That's why it kind of does that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sometimes we see people with amputations. Sometimes it's from that and you lose feeling. Sometimes it's an infection that people don't know because they lose feeling in those types of things. So,
and we don't heal fast.
Right.
Yeah, which is trash.
Yeah, a lot of things working against people there.
Sure. All right. Makes sense. So that kind of puts in, essentially your whole body's essentially at risk. And this sounds depressing, but don't get depressed. we can beat this. But so you have a risk of, which I think they actually put chronic kidney disease for most diabetics anyway. They put that in their medical file. Or I can't remember how they put it, but anyway, your kidneys are at risk, your eyes are at risk, your heart is a big one. Amputations, ain't that more of the rare side effects?
Much more rare.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's typically people that are, like you mentioned, overweight, can't feel sores and things get infected and, different things over decades of mismanagement.
Right.
But yeah, are there any other ones that I'm missing? I mean, that's essentially the main ones, right?
Forms of diabetes.
Yeah. Heart, kidneys, eyes, neuropathy,
Yep.
which is like when neuropathy gets worse, doesn't it feel like your skin's kind of burning? Kind of like
what I hear. Yeah. Like pins and needles. Kinda.
Sure. I get a little, like my limbs, that's the one thing I can feel now, like my feet will stay cold all winter.
Yeah.
Do yours?
Yeah.
Thank God. Okay. I'm not alone. I mean,
Yeah.
no offense, but yeah, my, every time, like now when it gets in October, my feet turn into ice cubes until May.
Really?
Literally. It's
Yeah.
like, now I can warm them up.
Mm-hmm.
But I notice now cold, I'm really sensitive to cold now. Like really, I'll have to throw on a hoodie sometimes in the house.
Yeah.
I bought a really fluffy hoodie blanket thing that I just throw on and bake
Lovely.
in,
Yep.
But are you noticing anything in particular?
No, I notice that my feet are cold sometimes, but I don't know that it's necessarily just me being cold because I'm kind of just cold at baseline compared to my family and other people. But
Sure.
No, I mean, I have to wear glasses, but it's not necessarily because of damage to my eyes from my blood sugar. I think it's just bad genetics with that.
Sure. Yeah. I've always been blessed with 20/20 vision, but I can tell like my pressure is different. Like I'll go out in the sun and I'll be like,
Yeah.
like I can really tell that there's something there. And I don't go to the eye doctor enough. I need to.
You need to.
Do you go every 2 years?
I go every year.
Every year?
I get new glasses, so it's a thing.
I know.
It's a blessing there that I do have trouble, so that it makes me follow up well to make sure that nothing is going astray.
Sure. And what happens there is bleeding. Is that what can occur?
It can be, yes. The nerves there also. I think a lot of the time it is bleeding. Those vessels kind of burst in there, which affects the retinopathy, the vision.
I need to go. I mean, it's been like 5 years. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. I am proud of, my A1C, which is a 3-month average of what your blood sugar is. And typically normal humans are walking around in the 5s.
Right.
If you're a diabetic and if you got a 6, in my opinion, that's freaking awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying that because that's where mine is, but yours is in 5s.
It's been in the 5s. It's up to 6.4 now, which I hate that I'm like,
welcome.
I feel bad about that. Because years ago, like I was in the 9s for a long time and that was good, but now we have all of these other tools. So, and I'm much more, strict about it, but I'm still happy with anything below 7, I think is really excellent and someone should be proud of.
It's pretty daggone awesome.
Yeah.
I was in the 11s.
Right. And
like when I didn't give a crap.
Right.
I mean, again, thank the Lord I'm still here, but yeah, if someone's listening, don't let it bum you out. Just take care of yourself. That's all we're saying. And it's possible. Now, granted, you can't have the cupcakes with everybody else, but you may, if you exercise a lot, you can eat a half of one or you can eat a bite or two. Like, I'm not saying don't live how basically I manage it, which I'm getting a lot more into eating healthy now because my cholesterol's up. That's another thing.
Yeah.
My cholesterol is up. But I'm starting to eat factor meals.
I use those too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
They are good. They're so convenient too.
So convenient. And it sounds like a commercial, but convenient. And it seems to not really affect. Seems like it's clean
protein
ingredients that doesn't really affect my sugar too bad.
Yeah.
Like it'll say 30 carbs on this one, but I don't really, it's not like 30 carbs in McDonald's, which sends me into the stratosphere.
Right. Yeah. I'm a little different in that I sometimes won't eat something if I don't want to deal with the repercussions or I'm feeling poor at baseline, but it's going to be hard for me to say no to a cookie because in a cupcake and all of those things. And I'm pretty passionate that people can eat what they want with type 1 as long as you follow through in treating it. So if I'm going to eat something that's really high sugar and those simple sugars that's going to spike it quickly, I might give myself insulin before I eat it, but still enjoy it because I don't know. Joy is an essential nutrient.
As we age, does food make you feel like dump sometimes? It does me. Like when my insulin spikes, it makes me real tired. That's
something I was just talking about recently that I've noticed. The older I get, I don't bounce back as much as I used to. The roller coaster, it really wears on me now compared to even 10 years ago. Like I would be 400 and then 50 and then I was 150 and I was fine. But now even when I hit that 150, I'm like, oh, I need to go take a nap. I don't feel very good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking like I'll eat a heavy carb meal and then I'll take a shot and then before I know it, I'm passed out on the couch. Like insulin spikes are real. Like we make jokes and stuff. Normal people are like, oh, I'm taking a nap after I eat. That's why you do is because your insulin spiking.
Right.
And normal people, your insulin fires away by itself and that's why it happens. But yeah, and I need to do better. I need to chill on all this crap that I eat. But, I exercise every day, but at the same time, like the cholesterol thing, it kind of freaked me out. They gave me a statin. I will say they gave me a statin and it wrecked my sugar.
Really?
Oh, yes. I went off of it.
Did you?
Yeah, and I said that's when I started ordering the factor meals. Now, granted, I'm not a freaking doctor. This is not medical advice. This is my own anecdotal experience. But I started taking, it was a generic of Lipitor.
Atorvastatin.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Do you take it?
No.
I was going to say there ain't no way.
No.
You still got at least 10 years before your heart starts, wanting to do jump rope. So I started taking it, and I swear it sent my sugar into a tailspin. Like, I couldn't take enough insulin.
Really?
I mean, it tripled the intake of bolus that I would need to take.
Wow.
Which is, for those who don't know, a bolus is what you fire up when you, on a sliding scale, like when you eat, you take a bolus, and that's a shot of juice, insulin. And it's like my body stopped reacting to it.
Yeah, I was really resistant. I've heard that. Likely your body just needed to get used to it. But I have heard that. There are some different ones too, if that's something you decide you.
Well, I'm going to see how this works. Like, if my blood work's still jacked this next time, I mean, I'm going to have to.
Right.
But I could do better. I do things like I drink energy drinks and too much caffeine. There's things I can do that'll help, that I think but also too, like, at the same time, I've had diabetes for 30 years.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's just going to see it eventually.
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to happen. Average. I mean, I tell them diabetics age in dog years. It's not quite that dramatic.
Yeah.
But there's it does. Your average lifespan is lowered, but you can fix that. It doesn't mean that you're destined to have a lower lifespan, but typically diabetics lifespans are lower.
Yep.
I've just had so many years of no extra medication that's kind of freaking me out too.
Absolutely. I think it's hard because it's kind of like a, I don't want to say character flaw, but like you feel like it is. Like, I didn't take good enough care of myself, and now I messed up and I did this to myself. And that's not the case. It's just the life of somebody with diabetes. It comes.
Oh, I told my grandma, she's like, I've been on that since I was 40, honey. Right. It's not that big a deal. I'm like, all right, thanks, Grandma.
Right. It's still valid, though, that it's changed for you.
Oh, yeah. But, well, my sugar was just so normal for so long, and then all of a sudden it is I feel like it's in disrepair. Now, granted, my body probably did just need to get used to it, but it may be a switch of medication.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There is evidence behind it making your blood sugar go up. So I don't think you're crazy with it, but I do think I wouldn't count out all of them because they have a good role in protecting your heart.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs, crush one, and snort it right now. Nah, I'm kidding. But we'll see what happens. Which I think my next appointment's in December, so that'll give me enough time to be able to tell. But there's other things too, like, I don't know. I'm kind of a hypochondriac, which is terrible to be with diabetes, because you're like, is this it? Is it is it up?
Right.
Is my clock struck 12? But I started feeling like some pressure, like in my liver area, and I'm like, is this affecting my liver now? Like, what are we doing? And and who knows what's going on without blood work, but I just basically placeboed myself into thinking that, this is not working.
Right. Yeah.
Now, is that true? I don't know, but I'm gonna try to get it under 200, and I think with the diet change alone, it's gonna really help, because now I'm just eating chicken and broccoli like 3 times a day. So that'll help.
It should. It's good for you.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Well, all right. So let's talk. Let's see. We'll do Camp Kno-Koma after we talk detrimental lows? Do you have any experiences? I feel like you don't have many. Like, I got a bunch.
I don't want to sound like I don't have.
I'm good for you.
I'm not bad. I am make lots of mistakes and ignore a lot of diabetes and want it to not be there a lot of days. Not any where I've needed glucagon or I've had a seizure or anything like that. I've had some low numbers. I think my lowest one was 26. I remember I walked home from school, and of course activity drops your blood sugar, and I got home and I remember eating just about everything I could find as I wasn't feeling good. There was one instance where I was low, and this was just a couple years ago, and it, like you were talking about, it kind of freaked me out. It made me have like a wake up call, like I need to take care of myself. But I was sitting with my family and I was eating, but my blood sugar was low at the same time. And so I was eating like real food, like a hamburger or something like that. And my Dexcom was yelling at me and all this stuff. And then I remember, I think my dad had handed me like a glass of milk or something. And I don't remember this part, but it was the punchline. But I then got up to get myself something to eat. And I was like, what's this doing here? And my dad was like, we just tried to give that to you. Like, and I had no recollection. But again, I was eating, so I don't want to say I like passed out or anything. But
have you ever passed out?
No. That stuff's really scary to me. Low blood sugars are very scary, so I try and do everything I can.
Oh heck
to not.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you go low?
I get really shaky. That's always my number one telltale sign. I get hungry, irritated, very, very agitated, just like I could be mean to anybody that's in my way. I think I would probably explain it now as like being overstimulated. So it's just like the world's moving, but I'm moving much slower, but mainly shaky.
Yeah. It's, I get depressed.
Yeah.
I get really down, and it's weird now. That's kind of a newer development, and I don't really understand it, but I know enough when it happens. I'm like, yeah, this is just because your sugar's low. Just sit here, wait on the juice to work. Don't drink another gallon of juice because it's going to be 400. Yeah, because you're scared to death.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
The textbook answer tells you like you need to eat 15 grams of carbs and wait 15 minutes. And I always say, until you experience what that feels like, you will let someone eat a little bit more than 15 carbs, because you just usually regret it, because this 15 do work, but it's like your body will do anything to get sugar.
Oh yes. I haven't had any disastrous. I mean, I've had some really scary moments. Like I've accidentally gave myself like 10 units with my pump, and I'm like, oh God, I'm drunker than hell. And then I just dial up a bolus, and I'm like, oh, I screwed up. And then I remember I'd done that. This is probably the latest one. I don't know. It was like 3-4 years ago. And I'm not an alcoholic. I'll drink a couple beers every now and then. But, drunk for me is 2 beers and I'm up on the table dancing. But so we was having a July 4th cookout, and somehow it dialed up 14 units, and I caught it after it gave me like 8. And I was like, oh. And as soon as I did it, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to the gas station. We do not have any sugar here. To get, and I went and got like a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Came back, and I just started sipping it until like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Just watching my sugar. And that, it went fine. If I went back, so a doctor after that, I don't know why I never thought of this, but he was like, just put sugar in the water and mix it up. He's like, it'll instantly raise it.
Yeah.
And I've done that after that, and I swear you feel it as soon as it hits your stomach. It's crazy. Because when you think about it, like I was always told, well, eat you Skittles, that's 1 gram per, and then eat you 15 of them and then sit around. And then I'm like, okay, but like I'll just slam. And I used to do stupid stuff like eat brownies, which is the worst thing you can do because it takes an eternity.
It takes forever. Yep.
For it to raise it, you know? So then you eat 12 brownies.
Yep, exactly.
And then it goes to 500 and then you feel like crap. And
right.
So what's your typical go-to for treating?
I like Gushers, which is something that I did not have as a kid. I always thought they were too expensive. Then we got them, and I'm like, oh, these are really good. But I also like to drink my sugar when I'm low, because I feel like it works a little bit quicker.
Yeah, 100%.
My dad is a big Mountain Dew fan, and I actually, talking about that story when I couldn't remember, that's what he had gotten me was Mountain Dew.
Right. And
I had never tasted it because I was diagnosed at 7. I just like had never had regular Mountain Dew before, and I tasted it. I was like, oh my goodness, I know why everybody likes this. But yeah, that's just a funny story. But yeah, I like juice, fruit snacks. Usually they're easy to put in my purse. Yeah.
Could you tell a difference? Can you tell a difference between diet and regular pop? I mean, surely. Yeah, I mean, I can.
So I think I should be able to, but I don't drink regular pop. So I don't really know what it tastes like. So if I get something that's just a little bit off, I'll have someone taste it. I've never been right thinking that it was regular.
Really?
So yeah.
Diet Mountain Dew is shockingly close to regular, but I can still tell. That's the only one that freaks me out. But if I get a regular Coke or something,
really?
Instantly.
Yeah.
Now, zero sugar Coke tastes a little more like regular Coke, so people can get fooled there.
Yeah.
But regular Coke and Diet Coke, it's literally cough syrup versus water.
Yeah. My family tells me that I would be able to tell the difference, but I haven't just like done one after the other and done that taste test.
Well, in southern West Virginia, not so much anymore, but when I was a kid, people would be shocked when you'd order a diet.
Yeah.
And they would give you regular, just thinking, surely they didn't order diet.
Right.
That skinny kid.
Right.
You know.
Funny story. So with one of our adult type 1 events that we did, we went out to eat at a restaurant, and they brought, everybody ordered Diet Coke. That was the only thing they had, the only diet option. And somebody had these little strips that you dip into your drink, and it'll tell you if it's regular or not. And they were like, hey, this is not diet. And so they had to go get like all 30 of us new drinks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know they made those. I need really those in my truck.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them before.
I tell you, I've thrown away so many drinks just because I wasn't sure. And I tell you what screwed me too. Sugar-free vanilla Frappuccino at Starbucks is loaded with sugar because of the base.
Right.
I never realized this.
Yeah. Sugar-free is kind of a scam.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Now, the sugar-free vanilla latte, I don't think those don't affect me too bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of other hidden stuff there.
Oh God, I got so many stories. We're going to get into it. And I don't have a filter, Maddie. So if you get embarrassed, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But I'm just going to talk about it. So we were talking about passing out, and I did want to share a couple. So I've passed out about 3 times. One, so there's a couple. I'll just go sequential. So one, I was out a former girlfriend's house. I can't remember how old I was. I think I was maybe 18. But anyway, we just got back from Tennessee. And I think dehydration affects lows too. I think it makes them shockingly worse. And the reason being is because I hadn't drank a lot that day. And I don't know, we ate like McDonald's or something. And I was trying to be a good diabetic. I was like, well, let me take a good shot for this. So I took one. And then before I knew it, I was out of my mind. And I remember that I woke up, stumbled through the house, busted through their front door, went on the porch, fell over. And then I would just come to every now and then. I came to a little bit. and I was in the car, and I was sitting there, I was laying on the seat, and I was just looking at the passenger door, and then I dozed in and out of consciousness. And thankfully, my girlfriend at the time took me to the hospital, which it was from Anahuac to Welch, which is about 30-minute drive. So it's quite a way.
Yeah.
And so I'm going in and out this whole time. You know, she's freaking out, rightfully so. They give me the hospital, and then they, get me on IVs. I start to come to, and I swear, I think I may have had a mini stroke because I couldn't say words. Like, if I was trying to say pop can, it would come out as stop sign. Like, I couldn't put together words. They were sitting there trying to ask me, like, what my name was, what my social security number was, all these different things. And I couldn't. There was no possible way I could have did it.
Wow.
And but my brain was there, and I knew, like, that's not the word you're trying to say.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. I was just sitting there like, no, that's not what I want to say, but it would come out. And it really changed my perspective. I'm like, man, this is such a gift just to be here. And literally your brain can be rewired to just do stuff. And it was very scary. And eventually it wore off, and I was okay, but I don't know what happened. I think that the only thing I can figure is my brain was so dehydrated that when, my sugar went low, my body just shut down. It was like, all right, we're done. And then it took a while to fill up everything, to get fluid back in everything, to get it functioning properly. That's just my completely unmedical opinion. So that was scary. There's another time along around the same time. I didn't take care of myself well then. There's a house party where I used to drink a lot more than I should have. And I went to the bathroom, and it was kind of the same thing. Stumbled in there. And then out like a light, hit the ground. I start coming to. I'm being carried outside. And it's just all these drunk people, all my drunk friends, carrying me because they knew I was a diabetic, but no one really knows what that means.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just know something's going on. So they're carrying me out. I'm coming to. Eventually, again, I just woke up at the hospital. I was at St. Luke's, and my aunt came in, and I love her to death. She came in, and she's talking to me, and was like, "Well, have you been drinking?" "Yeah, I drink a little bit." "Have you been smoking anything?" "Yeah, I smoked a little marijuana." And then she was like pointing out, she was like, "Okay, well, it's okay. You're okay. You're here." And she was looking at my diagnostics and was like, "You see your oxygen level? It actually should be this high, and it probably ain't because you're not really doing the right thing, and this and that, and the oxygen in your blood and stuff." And so I'm just sitting there like, yeah. It didn't really click then either. So that happened. But yeah, passing out is very weird, very scary. One more recent one. I mean, and now, like I mentioned, I get depressed when it goes low. Like it went so low. And my daughter now knows what it is. She's old enough to know. And it was just, I literally started crying because I was sitting on the couch, and she just comes up. She sits with me. She's like, "It's okay, Dad." And she's handing me like juice. It's like, "Do you need anything?" And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. I'm tearing up thinking about it. But it's just an awful feeling that people really don't really understand unless it's happened. I mean, it literally sometimes feels like you're dying.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible.
But at the same time, the goal is not to do that.
Right.
Like with the pump, I know for me, it had less than 5% lows. Or less than 1% lows.
Right.
So my A1C was like, I don't know, 6.2 this last time with less than 1% lows, which is awesome because a lot of people like your A1C could be low, but it could be because you're going low all the time.
Exactly. Which we don't want.
We don't. No. I mean, it's more dangerous.
Absolutely. Way more
high.
dangerous.
Yeah. So tips and tricks on keeping it level. Is it protein? What is it?
That is a good thing. So what you eat affects your blood sugar. High protein's good. High fiber's good. Your fruits, your vegetables, your proteins are all good. But it's important to have a balanced diet, and that includes carbohydrates as well. So including those and then knowing how they affect your blood sugar. So if you're eating certain things and it spikes your blood sugar much later, you know that. And that's what we can use with the sensors. We have all of this information.
Sure.
Other tips that I have are just learning your body. And that's one thing that's makes sense with type 1 because it's so unique, but it's really frustrating because everybody's body is different. Like we talked about, my sister, we have very similar situations. And things affect her differently than they do me. Like I'm very high strung anytime I'm running late. I remember once I went to the doctor and they pull up all of your graphs of each day. And they're like, what time do you leave for work every day? And I'm like, oh, like 7:30. And they're like, are you running late every day? And I'm like, yep, every day. Because my blood sugar would spike every single time because I was running late. And so but I know that. And so then I can use that to my advantage. So if I'm running late, I might set my target a little bit different on my pump or things like that. So I think, to summarize, high protein, high fruits and vegetables, balanced diet, increased activity is always good for everybody, whether you have diabetes or not. And then just learning your body and being patient and giving yourself grace because it's like really hard and it's really easy to get down about it. Like, oh, I was terrible to my body today because I let all of this happen. But also the world is just like happening and your body is just trying to its best to do it. So you did what you could with it.
You brought up, let's talk about stress. Because with this show, I'll call out criminals every now and then. It's a very stressful thing.
Oh, yeah.
And every time, like, and it usually goes on for weeks. And I'll call them out and there'll be all these evidence and all these things, a very emotional time because, I'm trying to, I have some kind of cause, whatever it would be, to rid the world of crimes. And it causes my sugar to go out of this planet. And when my sugar's high, you can almost not deal with me. Like I get, and I know this too, but I will snap at people. I'll just be an awful person.
That's my least favorite. If you have a list of favorites of things with diabetes, is how it affects my mood.
Yeah. So it does compared to what your sugar is, it'll definitely make
absolutely. And I never really catch it on the front end. I'm always like down. I'm feeling sad. I'm angry at the world, all of the things. And then my blood sugar will come in range and I'm like, oh, was that because my blood sugar was high? But like when it's high, I'm never like, this is why I'm mad. I'm just mad.
Sure.
So yeah. And so my least desirable part of having diabetes is how it affects my mood. And then when I'm low, I really snap at people when I'm low too, because I'm like, get out of my way. I got to find the food.
Sure.
But yeah, it's terrible. I don't like it.
That's it's odd how bodies are different. Cause when I'm low and that's a regular thing. Like I remember when I was a kid and I was a diabetic, I feel bad about this too. But, so I was, the only juvenile diabetic in the family. I was staying at my dad's house, and there was another kid that recently got diagnosed, and she would throw fits when her sugar was low. And she was in the house throwing a fit when her sugar was low. And I remember my stepmom at the time said, like, is this a thing? Like, like, you don't do this when your sugar's low. Like, is this? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing.
Right.
Like, when your sugar's low, it's just low and you feel weak and
Right.
that's it. And she's like, yeah, that's what I thought, you know? So and then I think about that now and I'm like, what a jerk. Like, it wasn't her fault that her body was reacting that way.
Right.
And everyone reacts in different ways. So it's good to put that out there because people are really, you know, especially people that try to actively do the right thing. We're also very hard on ourselves.
Right.
You
And
know?
I think like there's a lot of information in the world right now. So that gives us the ability to compare to each other. You know, like there are people online on social media that are sharing about their diabetes stories. And like even me, I'll be like, man, I wish I was that good. I wish I could do it like that. And so I think it's important to be like vulnerable and that it's not like that and everybody's a little bit different. So
Sure.
if you're trying, I think that's the
Huge.
best. Yeah.
Heck yeah. When you was a kid, did the other parents kind of have to feel like they have to put on a hazmat suit to take you anywhere? Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, I would feel like I got special privileges when I didn't need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would always like, you know, Halloween's coming up. I'd get some of the neighbors would be like, oh, they would get me gum or something, which I can eat the other candy too. But I was like, ooh, I got gum.
Yeah.
You know?
Maddie's got sugar.
Right.
She's real bad. She's on shots. You know, I get that too. They talk. Yeah, they would start ranking your diabetes
Absolutely.
on this scale. You know, and then like there'd be weird things that happen. Like they'd come over and one of their kids would use a meter and check their sugar, and I'd be like, okay. And then it would be like, you know, 210, and I'm like, that's pretty high. And then the parent would be like, no, that ain't that big a deal. You know, it's like this whole thing, this whole tug of war with diabetes. You know, and I was just like, it ain't that big a deal. Just bring the juice, you know, give me the juice. It's
Right.
literally all you need to do. But my little league coach ran into me and he was like, man, I didn't know, because his grandson was recently diagnosed, and he was like, I didn't know nothing about it, to be honest. He's like, I could have killed you. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, practice was perfect. Yeah, you hit line drives at us with our gloves off, but it's just the same for me as it is anyone else, you know. So, but that was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
But,
it's really difficult because even like I'm trained in healthcare, but I wasn't trained on what diabetes was other than me having it. And I think that's the case for a lot of just the world, you know, like you just don't know what it is until it happens to you or a family member and you get all of this new information. Because like you, I didn't know anybody that had diabetes or anything like that. And both of my parents are healthcare professionals and they didn't know a lot about diabetes until it happened to me also. So
sure.
it's kind of crazy, the things that you do, but also how we manage it, and it's fine.
Oh yeah. It's now, okay, I'm gonna get into sugar-free chocolate. And this is a PSA. Okay. Oh, how do I do this? I'm just gonna tell you. Okay, so I discovered sugar-free chocolate. And I think my grandma or someone gave it to me. And I was so hyped because it was like, oh, thank goodness someone finally figured it out. This was I think it was like a new thing. And I just start going to town. And I looked at the nutrition facts. I was like, wow, there's no sugar here. I ignore sugar alcohol and I ignore this big disclaimer on there that says may cause a laxative effect. And I'm telling this to people because they need to know, Maddie.
Yep.
Okay. So I start eating this. I'm like, oh, yay. It's like I have a pancreas again. This is great. It's so good. It's got peanut butter in it. It's like, wow, I'm a real boy. This is cool. And I'm sitting there, I'm laying there playing games. And I'm going to not be disgusting with this, But something happens, and it was a disaster.
Yeah.
In my bedroom, and then I got to take care of that. So as you can probably tell from my context clues, I shit my pants is basically what happened. And it was horrendous. And one of the worst life lessons I've ever learned. But I'm telling y'all out there, because you need to know these things. Because I actually, there's a guy that I used to work with at the coal mines, and he was sitting there eating this candy. He's like, hey, you want some of these? Are sugar-free. I was like, no, that's okay. It's like caramel or something. And I said, dude, have you like read the bag? And he's talking on the radio. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I said, I don't know. Some of those, like with that sugar alcohol and stuff, like it's got like a really disastrous laxative effect. And he he got back on the radio and said, oh my God. He said, I've ate 25 of these things. And I see this disclaimer on his bag of candy. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, just so you know, about 30, like you need to go somewhere. Like you need to go home. But anyway, so y'all will know, just because it says sugar-free doesn't mean it's good for you necessarily.
Right. I haven't had that experience, but
thank God.
I don't like the sugar-free stuff because in my experience, it still has sugar, like carbs in it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm counting and checking on. So like, I remember we did sugar-free ice cream before, and I'm like, still has carbs and just doesn't taste as good. So
sure.
Give me the right stuff.
I mean, that's a good point. Like no sugar added.
Right.
They'll slip that in there. Like Cracker Barrel used to have no sugar added apple pie. I think they still do. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so obscenely bad for you if you eat a bunch of it. I mean, eat you a couple bites, but yeah, it is not just because it says no sugar added. Look at the carbs, like you said. But that's weird how our brain is engineered.
Yeah.
To look at certain words. Yeah. They gotta sell it. People start getting unhealthy. You got to figure out how to still sell them on it. But all right. So Camp Kno-Koma, this episode also is for a lot of the kids out there. Since I started doing the show, I've had probably a handful of parents reach out and be like, I just want to thank you. Like my kid was diagnosed here recently. We had no clue what it was. Appreciate you talking about it. And I'll share things like the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. It's called something else now. What's it called? Breakthrough. Yeah. They marketing. So they had an event in Flatwoods that I shared, and there's a family that reached out, said, my kid was diagnosed yesterday. Thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't know this existed. So I know there's probably people listening now that may be going through that same thing, but what do we want to tell those folks necessarily?
I will say to the parents, it might be one of the hardest things that you ever have to do is send your kid away to have no contact with them essentially for a week when they have this condition. But it will be one of the most important things that you could do for the kid, for the parent themselves. The kids have a great time. It is my favorite place, I always say. They have a great time. They learn how to take care of themselves. They're empowered to do it. They see adults that are thriving in just puts them in a good mental space, a good physical space to learn. I just couldn't recruit enough to send your kid. And if it's not to Camp Kno-Koma, to a diabetes camp, they have them all across the nation. They're very, very important.
Yeah, heck yeah. So yeah, Camp Kno-Koma. You want to talk about it?
Sure.
Okay. And I shared like I don't know what's it called? Introverted. Very introverted. We'll say that. Okay. Creative, sensitive.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was very sensitive. I'll tell you the really cool part. I used to get homesick a lot, and this story is everything to do with me, nothing to do with the camp. But it was so cool seeing that other pancreases also didn't function correctly like mine when I came, and I met some really cool kids, and they were making diabetic jokes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool, because where I was from, like, there was nobody.
Right.
I was the only one. So that aspect, looking back, was really beneficial for me to see, and to see how other kids had the same struggles and, weren't as perfect as me too, if that makes sense. But it was cool because, we could rally together and kind of, not necessarily give each other challenges, but root each other on to not die, essentially. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I got homesick at the camp. And did I tell you this story?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've told you this story. Yeah. I don't know how much in detail.
Yeah.
I said it on another show, and I won't go too deep into it, but so I get homesick, and I start, not only do I get homesick, what do I do? I like to talk. I start giving a lecture in my cabin to all the kids about exactly what being homesick felt like, what it felt like to me, what I missed about my home. I mean, just descriptive, like I would now. Yeah. I mean, it was just sitting there. I'm on my soapbox for like 15 minutes, and they're all like, trying to console me. But at the same time, I swear, it was like 2 a.m. and this kid comes walking by with a counselor. And I woke up, and it was that night. I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm homesick." I was like, "Oh no."
It's a virus that spreads really quick.
I done talked to everybody into feeling this way. But anyway, so somehow I got a hold of Mom, and I just guilted her into coming and getting me, and she came out. I can't remember. Where was that camp? Where would it have been in the late 90s? I can't, because the one I visited was not the one that was there.
It's been in a bunch of different places. It's been at Ogleby, in Wheeling. It's been in, I think Cowan. I might be saying that wrong.
Sounds right. I think that's where that sounds familiar.
Can't remember the name of that camp. I first started going at Camp Virgil Tate outside of Charleston.
Okay.
And then now it's down on the Greenbrier.
How do y'all decide where to go?
Well, right now, just about the only camp that is large enough to hold all of us, including campers, staff, is Greenbrier Youth Camp. They've been really good to us down there. But yeah, our board of directors will decide it based on those factors. We do like it to be a central location for the whole state, but it's so beautiful down at the Greenbrier Youth Camp that it's been good for us.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful place. What's the usual attendance?
The past couple of years, we've had about 120 kids. Now add about probably 90 staff to that.
90?
We have a lot. So we have
awesome.
Counselors, medical staff, dietary staff, activities staff. They just do a phenomenal job.
Yeah. It's so cool. And I wanted to give back this summer, so made a little donation and sponsored a couple campers. And I'm trying to, atone for my, I don't know, for my childhood. I don't want to deter anyone from this, from my own eccentric behavior. But it really is a great thing, and a lot of really cool people. It's
funny that happened to you, because there are the few instances where a kid just can't battle the homesickness, and we'll have to send them home, but few and far between. Like, if you send one kid home a year, it's a lot. Sure. So mostly we're keeping them so busy that there's little time for the homesickness lectures.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, my suggestion is don't bring it up.
That's exactly what we tell people to do.
Yeah, just don't bring it up at all. That's my suggestion, because I did not do y'all any favors back then.
We have like little campergrams where people can email a note or write letters or do those kinds of things. When I was young, I mean, I cried all the time, every night when I was at camp when I was a kid. And then I don't know exactly when that stopped, but now
that's a good question. Eventually it did just stop. Thankfully, eventually you got to learn to live with life. But, some kids adapt way more. And my daughter is just like me. And I feel so bad for my wife because it's kind of like 2 against 1.
Yeah.
And she's just this creative butterfly that does not like to be away from home. And I know from me being me, like eventually you just grow and you figure out how to get out of that. And obviously I probably didn't do it the correct way back then to work towards being self-sufficient, but yeah, every kid's different. But yeah, overall it's just, how do y'all, so is the structure, is there a format for the week? Like, okay, Monday we're going to do this, Tuesday this.
Yeah, good question. So we start I'll explain the whole week.
Sure,
and then we'll break down a day. So Sunday, everybody gets there. Let me back up. Saturday, staff gets there and they prepare for the week. They get the cabin ready. They do all the stuff. Sunday, campers get there at about 5 o'clock. Everyone is with their med staff and they report their blood sugar. So you kind of not necessarily line up, but you go through the list and get everyone's blood sugar. Now that we have the sensors, it's amazing because people can just pull up their phone or their whatever and say what their number is, and
takes a lot of pressure off y'all.
It does, because it used to be everyone would line up and do a finger stick and we would get that value, and then everyone goes to dinner and everybody eats like normal. There are carb sheets on all of the tables, so the kids will kind of add up everything that they eat. Mm-hmm. Then they'll bring it to their med staff. They'll confirm that information and dose their insulin. Then Sunday evening is some sort of activity, and then usually a campfire or welcome campfire. Then Monday through Friday look about the same, but everybody's activities rotate. Mm-hmm. So Monday morning, you wake up, do your blood sugars, you go to breakfast, then you do a morning activity. So that can include archery, it can include kayaking on the river, bikes. There's a ropes course, crafts is a big one. We have cooking, different morning activity. So everyone, based on who their group is, which is based on their age, mm-hmm. goes to their morning activity. Then you come back, you do lunch. Then you do an afternoon activity. So it's either hanging out at the river or going to the pool, crafts, whatever the group gets into. Then dinner, and then our evening activities is what changes every day. So we might have a dance. The camp dances are my favorite thing.
Sure.
They are important. We might have another campfire. We'll have sometimes like a fair type things where
Sure.
we'll have games, all different types of things that'll go on throughout the week. But that's your daily structure. And then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you go back to your cabin, get ready for bed, you get a snack, you go to bed. Then the medical staff will check blood sugars at midnight and at 3 a.m. So everyone's safe and healthy throughout the night. And then wake up, you do it all again on Friday or Thursday towards the end of the week, depending on how it is. We have our shaving cream battle, which everyone just gets their can of shaving cream and you have some cones in the middle and
heck yeah.
It's like snowball fight, but with shaving cream.
Sure. Perfect.
And then Friday we have our big end of the week celebration, which is usually a dance with games, photo booths, s'mores, all the fun stuff. That's when we get our diet pop for the week. We get a little cup of diet pop. So that's exciting. And then Saturday morning we have breakfast, and then parents are usually ready to come pick up at that point.
Heck yeah. How many diabetics are on staff?
Oh, I would say about 90% of our counselors. So we'll say 24 counselors. All of our LITs, so our leaders in training that are 16 and 17, probably about add 15. And then our med staff is probably split. Maybe a little bit less people with diabetes on med staff, but some of our dietary staff has diabetes as well. So maybe like 50% of the staff overall has type 1.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What's the requirements to be a counselor?
Over 18 and interested in being counselor, attending, learning, being open-minded if you haven't been before, to people with diabetes, passing a background check, all of those things. But we welcome counselors. It's really, really rewarding as an adult, even if you don't have type 1.
Sure. I've thought about conquering my fear.
You should.
And coming back. What do you think?
You absolutely should. I want to see your application.
That'd be a fun week.
It would be so much fun. I think you would really, really enjoy it.
I'll think about it.
And the kids would love you too.
I got to hype myself up. Can we make a big video? Like of the whole week?
Oh. Yeah. Oh, please. Let's do
it. Okay. I'm going to say 95%.
Okay.
I'll say 95. I got to do this for my life.
You do.
You know, and it'd be fun to hang out with the kids and tell jokes all week.
They're so funny. They're so good. The kids are they're great. And I always say it's really hard to be a kid. You know, it's hard to be an adult too, but it's hard to be a kid and then be a kid with diabetes.
Oh yeah.
And just seeing all of the community there, and even outside of just having diabetes, they are funny and they're a blast. I love spending the week with them.
Did you ever get picked on?
Oh yeah.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh no. Oh,
I'm saying
no, they roast me now.
Oh, they roast you now. Okay.
Yeah. No, they're all in good fun. No, I didn't get picked on. It's that's the one thing about
not at
diabetes.
the camp. I mean, like from normal kids.
Oh, I was gonna say diabetes camp is the most welcoming place. Nobody's picking on anybody, but
that's great.
No, not really. I was always pretty included, which I'm very thankful for because I know that is not the case everywhere. I always say the only thing that I really ever felt too different with which is funny now, but I always had to take my insulin or my meter wherever I went. So I'd always carry that in a little purse.
Sure.
And so I felt that I was the odd man out because I always had to carry a purse. And now that I'm an adult, it's not a big deal. But when I went to diabetes camp, that was my favorite part because I went hands-free with everything. I didn't have to carry all of my stuff because the counselors or the med staff did.
Sure.
But yeah, at normal school, I didn't really get too picked on.
I did. So I'm going to share. I'm just unloading all my diabetes trauma. So there are only 2 instances. So one time, it'd be like a go-to. Like I'd get in an argument with somebody. I remember getting in an argument with like my best friend in middle school. And then he called me sweet pea. You know, and it just got to me. I'm like, man, that's not fair.
Yeah, no.
Talking about my pancreas. In elementary school, when I first got it, one of my friends said behind my back, said, JD stands for juvenile diabetes.
Oh.
And I'm like, he got me.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't that big a deal, really. But yeah, I didn't really get picked on too hard with that. I did have a couple bullies, but it had nothing to do with the functioning of my pancreas. But yeah, it's good for kids to hear because you know it's okay, kid. You're fine. We're gonna be good. All right, what are we plugging? When the signups start? We got
registration's open. It is July. I want to say the 12th, but let's see. Yep, July.
7 or older. Wait, 7 or older than 15. Younger than the age of 7 or older than. Wait, what are we talking about? A
That's
camper? Okay. I'm trying. All right, here's English. A camper cannot be younger than the age of 7 or older than 15 as of July 12th, 2026. In-state residents, $200. Out-of-state, $325.
And I do want to add with that, if that is unattainable with anyone, there are a lot of funds and scholarships available.
Oh,
so
holler at me. You
do not let that be a limitation to coming.
Yeah, I will cover whoever's fee that can't do it that wants to go. All right. So, yeah, it looks like you can add to cart here and do all that good stuff. Where's the signups for the counselors at? Is that on here?
It would be under staff.
Staff. Let me.
Yep, right there.
It's a little smaller. There we go. Okay. So, staff, we got the beginning. We got the board of directors here.
And then if you hover over the staff tab.
Oh, hover over.
Yeah.
Got
and
it.
then you
Volunteer
go to
program.
That would be for any volunteers. Then the one below that, I think, is the LITs. And then the one, below that would be the counselors.
What's LIT?
It's leader in training. So it's a way to train our kids that have graduated from camp. So they're over 15. And then we bring them back in 16 and 17 and teach them how to be a good staff member at camp.
So I won't qualify for that one.
Probably not. No.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't technically. I dropped out. I dropped out of college and diabetes camp. Like it's such a good mix of diabetics we have on the show today.
I do want to also recruit. We have, if you were no longer in those age groups, we have a new adult diabetes camp that's affiliated with Camp Kno-Koma. And it's called WVT1D Adults. And they are...
Is that the rafting trip that I missed?
That's the rafting trip you missed, yeah. So there was an individual that unfortunately passed away. He was diagnosed with type 1 in adulthood. And his parents always said that they wish that... He wished he was diagnosed younger so he could form a community like one at diabetes camp.
Sure.
So they, their family and friends had donated some money that we've been able to hold these adult events now. So
I gotta go to these.
Yeah, you do. We've done tailgates, football games, basketball games. We've went rafting. We've done 3 weekend retreats. So like a Friday through a Sunday. All free of charge, just kind of a little getaway at...
So this next one's a walk?
That is with Breakthrough T1D. We're just kind of advertising a little bit there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. A little cross promotion.
Yep. We don't have anything booked right now, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm gonna free up my schedule. I didn't even realize y'all was having that tailgate, and I was there.
I know.
I didn't realize it. Was it the backyard brawl?
No, it was the first game of the season.
Did you go to the freaking backyard brawl?
I did. It was amazing.
Oh,
it was amazing.
I don't care. Like I'd said, I don't care if we lose every game, which we very well may well. After that, this year,
it was so much fun. I haven't had that much fun at a game in a long time.
Yeah, it was incredible. Well, awesome. So is that about it, Maddie? I think we did it.
I think so. It's a lot.
My regards to your pancreas. We will press on, and everyone out there, please get affiliated with Camp Kno-Koma, with Breakthrough T1D. I've been talking with them regularly. Tammy?
Yes.
Yeah, Tammy. And then there was a former Miss West Virginia that
Jennifer.
Helps.
Yep.
Jennifer.
So she's went to camp with me all when I was a kid, so I know her well.
Oh, cool. So y'all went to the same same class?
Well, she's, I think, a year or 2 younger than me, but yeah, around the same age. So hopefully she'll be back at camp this year too.
Small world. I feel highly unsuccessful when it comes to because she works for, she's in the health field too,
yeah,
right?
She's a physician assistant, a PA.
Yeah. Good for y'all.
Yeah.
Look at that. And what did your sister go to school for?
She is a mechanical and aerospace engineer.
Of course she is.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Well, we all have our paths.
Right. exactly. No,
Yeah, you know,
exactly. No, everybody. We need everybody, and it's good.
That's great. Well, cool. Well, thanks, Maddie, for making the trip.
Thank you.
We'll have to do this again. Bring some more diabetics in. We'll have a good old time
We can do
talking
that.
war stories. But yeah, and I'm not going to cut out the laxative part because people
No.
need to know this stuff.
Absolutely, it's
Okay?
important.
Yeah, it's very important. Very important. And everyone out there, be sure to like this video if you haven't. Subscribe to Creepalachia on YouTube if you haven't. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, take a minute, leave a review, hit that 5-star. And if it's below that, just ignore everything I just said. And we are on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And we do have merch now, creepalachia.shop. That'll help us sponsor more scholarships for those kids with malfunctioning pancreases out there. And everyone else, always remember, above all else, long live Appalachia.